What is up, guys? It is the Sportster Brad Walker, and welcome inside the Walker Report, part of In the Zone Sports Radio. Hope everyone out there is having a lovely evening as we get very, very close to A, to the weekend, but B, to the holiday season. Whatever you're celebrating out there, if you're already celebrating Hanukkah, happy Hanukkah to you. Christmas is a week away tomorrow, and then New Year's is about 2 weeks away. So that's interesting. To say the least, guys. Just real quick, guys, this will be the final Walker Report of 2020. We will not be doing this show the next 2 weeks due to the holidays and stuff like that. So there will not be a show the next 2 weeks, but there will be one this evening. Neither one of my co-hosts are on here yet, so I will, give them some time to get on here. Real quick, guys, I'll go ahead and go through my sponsors while I'm waiting for them to come on. Guys, if you want some In the Zone gear, head over to squidlocker.com, type in the Zone Sports Talk Radio. The website will present itself, and you can order your Zone gear. The holidays are here. You need to buy some for your family and friends. Get them some Zone gear. Hey, I have a shirt of my own. I'm not wearing it this evening, but I do have a shirt of my own, and they're very, very awesome. Guys, I also am sponsored by CreatingZenSpaces.com, the local choice in St. Petersburg, Florida for house cleaning, organization, decluttering, and pet sitting. It's about finding the peace within you and adding comfort to your life. And I want to thank my friend Renee, who has been my sponsor since day one of this. I believe, guys, I am going on, I think this podcast has almost been going now for 2 years. Thank you to Kevin Dixon, Ralph Garcia. You guys are the ones who gave me this opportunity. Dana Clark is another one out there that you guys gave me the opportunity to come on your shows, and then I was able to branch off on my own. But yeah, it's very interesting that we've arrived here. There's going to be, again, like I said last week, guys, there's going to be some changes coming up for this show in 2021. Some technical stuff is going to happen, hopefully, on the latter part and the better part for all that is good, but nothing out of the ordinary. I've really enjoyed the way that the show has been taking off the last month or so, with having Lewis and Adam come on here the entire time and letting us go through the topics together instead of hearing me talk for an hour and then having them come on and talk to me live over the phone. So if you guys want to, guys, the link to the show is on my Facebook page. I did share it to a lot of the groups if you guys want to come on. Also, guys, I do have a YouTube channel. I keep forgetting to mention that. The YouTube channel is titled The Sportster Bradley Walker. Head over there. I put all of the shows that I do, the Walker Report and the Sunshine State Sports Hour. In case you cannot catch them live, they are all over there recorded, and you can watch them in their entirety. In fact, guys, if you did miss this past Monday, I had a few choice words for the ownership of the Tampa Bay Rays. You want to head on over there and listen to what I talked and what I said about that, then you definitely can head over there and see. But for the most part, it comes down to the fact that you have you have what's going on. But yeah, I had some few choice words for the management there. There was a lot of people that I've talked to agreed, with the comments, agreed with them. So that is, that's pretty cool. I've gone on the Reddit. That's another, something that I use for guys, and they too on there. I've been reading on the Rays there about how they, it's all come to be. All right, there's one of my co-hosts right there. He's muted at the present moment. So yeah, but yeah, guys. So again, if you do not get a chance to catch us live,
No, muted.
There we go. If you do, want to catch us, you can't catch us live. I do record all of them to the YouTube channel, so you guys can watch them live over there. And there is Lewis. What is up, gentlemen? How's the evening going?
All right, Bradley. Almost pressed the wrong button, so.
No worries, guys. No worries.
Yeah, press the wrong button, Jetson.
Well, okay, guys. I know we discussed last week that we wanted to kind of make sure that the show went a full 2 hours, so I loaded everything up today. We'll start with boxing. I guess it's boxing.
Want to go around?
We can go around.
No, the first part is Emmanuel Nunez wants to fight Jake Paul.
What? Come on.
That's not a winner. That's a win. Jake Paul can't take that fight. It's a losing fight no matter what he does. If he goes out there and he wins, then he beat up a girl. If he loses, he got beat up by a girl. It's a no-win.
Oh no.
Yeah.
It's a no-win situation for him. It's just not going to happen.
Supposedly, she wants to challenge him to a boxing match. That's what she.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
That's not. That's just.
No.
It's not a fight that he can. It can only. It's not only a lose. It's a losing situation for him.
It's one thing to do it in other sports, like say tennis, golf,
right?
But boxing, no, because then the female is gonna claim that was being too violent, and the guys, if the guy loses, he's gonna get razzed by, you got beaten by a girl. You are such a wuss. What are you?
Yep.
I'm ashamed to even know you.
Yeah.
At all.
He's nuts anyway. They're crazy anyway. Well, if you watch their YouTube channel, they're crazy anyway.
Yeah. I know.
Those two are crazy anyway.
Right.
Didn't one of them get in trouble for filming like a dead body in some forest in China or Japan?
In Japan, in the suicide forest in Japan. That was Logan, if I'm not mistaken. It was one of the Paul brothers. I forget which one. May have been both of them. They may have both been there, but But I've been saying, unfortunately for Jake Paul, he got that fight against Nate Robertson, and that was a shit show. It was terrible because Nate had no idea what he was doing.
Right.
It was clear from the opening bell that Nate had no idea what was going on. And I've been saying that I think Jake Paul there has a lot of talent. I've been saying that since February, since his first professional debut.
Right.
First professional debut, as opposed to debuting twice.
Only since February of this year?
February, December of last year, February this year, somewhere in there. Yeah. I think he's. He had 5 or 6 amateur fights before that over the last couple of years. So he's been training. He's been in the fight camp for he's only 23, so he's still fairly young in terms of for a fighter. And I've said that, I think he's got a lot of raw talent. I don't know if he'll be able to harness that talent. And unfortunately for him, he didn't get a good chance. He didn't. Yeah, of course, he had a good showing against Nate Robertson. But I mean, it was like watching, the high school bully beat up the slow kid.
Yeah.
Well, he's got a fight lined up with Floyd Mayweather. It's already been finalized.
That's the other Paul brother. That's Logan.
I don't think Mayweather should fight anymore.
Yeah.
It's gonna be an aggressive sparring match.
Yeah.
It'll be a lot like the Tyson
Jones.
Yeah. Where it it'll be a lot of body work, and you'll punch as hard as you want to get punched. There won't be a lot of headshots. It'll be a lot of it'll be a lot more bobbing, weaving, punch, body shots, and keep everything down.
Yeah,
I just style.
I saw that and I thought, you know what, we got to talk about that.
Oh, absolutely. I was going to bring it up if you didn't.
It's.
I just can't say. I wouldn't take. If I was in Logan's camp, I would tell him, or Jake's camp, I'd tell him, no, don't take that fight. That fight's a loser.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. I mean, like you said, either way, guys. Either he gets his ass kicked, and then you got beat by a girl, or he beats the crap out of her, and then he was being aggressive and beat up a girl. You know,
yeah. This fight should not take place. I'm sorry.
The boxing should step in and tell them no.
Yeah.
I don't think he went anywhere. I think she kicked his ass. I really do, honestly. I don't think.
Jake Paul, I don't know.
That's just me.
Now, when is this supposed to take place again? I forgot.
I don't think it's been agreed upon yet. They're trying.
No, they're smart. They won't do it at all.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're trying to get it done. Dana White's already come out and said, "Yeah, go ahead, do it." You know, but it's not going to end well for him anyway. One half does the other.
No.
So speaking of the real boxers, as we call them, there's a 13-person class that was elected to the International Boxing Hall of Fame class of 2021. Looks like Mayweather is in there. Speaking of Floyd and Andre Ward. Yeah. Ward, I think, is still isn't he a boxing analyst for Showtime?
Yeah, I think so.
Showtime? Or is it HBO? I know it's one of them that he does.
I think HBO stopped doing boxing, so it's HBO.
Okay.
I mean, so Showtime, sorry.
So obviously we agree that both of those two belong in there, right? Ward and Mayweather. Okay. It says also elected was Vladimir Klitschko, which obviously he deserves to be in there.
Yeah.
You have Layla Ali, who is
the champ's daughter.
Yep.
It says Davey Moore, Jackie Talonga, and Miriam Tamar. I don't know who those guys are.
I don't recognize those names, no.
Really.
It says Cutman Freddie Brown, trainer manager Jackie McCoy, journalist Greg Kimball, and Showtime television executive Jay Larkin have all been inducted or are going to be inducted into the Boxing Hall of Fame.
Okay.
So, and they're going now through all the highlights like Klitschko, 1996 super heavyweight gold medalist at the Olympics in 96, 64-5 as a pro with 44 knockouts, best known for his 18 consecutive successful defense titles. And then we go back up here and bring up Mayweather's stats are 50-0 with 27 knockouts. Ward 32-0 with 16 knockouts. So both of those fighters retired.
Both incredible fighters.
Undefeated fighters.
So why should Mayweather fight again?
Money. One word. Yeah, there you go.
He's got a ton of money, man.
That fight, he's getting $2 million off the drop. He's getting $2 million and 5% of pay-per-view.
Yeah. And you know that a bunch of people are going to watch that, especially YouTube people. They're going to watch that. Yeah. If
I can figure out a way to watch that, I'll watch it.
Yeah. They're going to watch it.
I got to find some streaming services to do it, though.
I usually go down to the Sky Bar, light up a stogie, and watch the fights. That's what I do.
You live where?
Tennessee.
Oh, no wonder.
Yeah.
I thought it was close to me, but forget it.
Right.
Yeah, I'm out here in New Jersey.
Yeah, right.
One of the future fights, Tyson Fury called out Anthony Joshua.
Yeah.
So,
I had seen that they were working on something for March, I think it was.
Yeah, it says it says grow a pair and sign the contract, big boy. That's what Fury so yeah, it looks like
such a good talker.
Now Joshua holds the IBF and WBA, and I think the WBO is held by Fury, right? Or did I have that up back?
Fury.
Okay.
I think Fury has 2 belts, I believe.
Okay. So, and right now Fury is 30-0-1 with 21 knockouts. Of course, defeated Deontay Wilder. Joshua is 24-1 with 22 knockouts. So I guess he just came up with a win. Oh, Joshua just came up with a win. So, yeah. So I don't know if that's going to materialize. I know that Wilder's camp doesn't want that because they want a third fight. I don't know why. They didn't do very well the first 2 fights, so I don't know why you want a third one, but I don't know. I don't know.
He's such a beast. Fury, 6'9", 270 pounds.
Yep.
He's freaking huge.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's like He's like as big as LeBron.
Yeah. It's I mean, again, I don't know why Wilder wants a third fight.
I don't know. After the first two. After the first one, I can understand wanting a second one, as the first one to a draw and, thinking you have him on the ropes there at the end. After the second one where he absolutely handed you your ass on a silver platter. And I know we talked about this right after the fight happened and not to rehash a dead horse, but to rehash a dead horse.
A dead horse.
When he was making excuses about how the suit was so heavy.
Yep.
Like, why didn't his corner have him come out and try it first? They didn't do a walk down to the ring before the fight? Nah, you're making excuses, dog. That's all you're doing is you're making excuses.
Right.
You can't tell me that your corner, your trainer, your cut man, nobody in your entourage said, why don't we see this really heavy suit? Let's have you walk down to the ring. We'll go, have a sparring session, go 3 or 4 rounds, see how work it out, see how it works. No.
Yeah.
You're making excuses.
No, I agree. Like we talked about that in February when the fight happened. Yeah, the whole thing is that he made every excuse in the book. Then I heard a couple months ago, Fury had loaded gloves. I'm like, okay, so what?
Yeah.
What other excuse are you going to come up with if you got your ass kicked? So
I don't know. You got to hand it to you. That's all I can say.
Why is it, I don't know. Who knows? I don't know.
I don't know either.
It's what it is. If they do get in the ring again and he gets his ass kicked again, and he probably will, then Joshua should be the next opponent for Fury sometime in 2021. So let it be if that's the case and that's what they want to do. They want to have a third fight. Well, let them have a third fight if that's what they want. So
I'm game.
Yeah, I'm game. I mean, I'm just to shut him up if nothing else.
That's true. That's
why not? I mean, I just think as a fight fan, I'm all for it. I mean, it'd be another huge fight. If you're a boxing fan, these are the kind of fights that we need. Boxing isn't hip. It isn't mainstream. It isn't cool like it was 70 years ago. It's not right up there with horse racing as America's premier sports. You need premier fights to get boxing back to where it was all of them years. Even 25, 30 years ago when Mike Tyson was at the top of his game. You need those premier fights, and the heavyweight division has to be bringing it. You can't have of course you can have stars in the other divisions, but the smaller guys, they just can't carry the boxing.
Right.
No.
Well, and then on top of that, if you compare it to how UFC has blown up in the last 10, 15 years.
UFC's taking boxing's audience away.
There you go. Exactly. It's taken everything away. UFC's taken everything away from them. And
the average UFC fan is far more engaged than the average boxing fan.
Totally agree with you. Absolutely.
When it comes to boxing fans, and I talk boxing with anybody that I can bend their ear. I love boxing. It's my favorite combat sport. It's probably my 4th favorite sport overall, behind football, hockey, NASCAR, probably boxing. I love boxing. I like to box. I have gloves and a gym membership, and when the first year comes around, I'm gonna try and get back into it. But when you talk martial art, or when you talk boxing, people just want to talk mixed martial arts. I talk MMA, and don't get me wrong, I like MMA, but I'm not crazy about MMA. Like, I'm not gonna sit. Like, I'll go out of my way to try and find to watch a boxing match, but I'm not going out. But if UFC's on, I'll watch it. But I'm not sitting there I'm not turning the channel for UFC. And so many of my fight friends are. They're looking for UFC because it's different. It's got wrestling, it's got grappling, it's got holds, it's got boxing, kickboxing, it's got all kinds of, you got flying back fists, elbows, knees, all kinds of different strikes. Boxing is a very technical sport. People think of boxing as, pugilism, punching, but it's so much more. It's, angles and cutting off the ring and footwork and hand speed and it's all that. It's really hard for the average fan to sit and watch anything other than a heavyweight fight.
Yeah. Yep, I agree, and that's the thing is the heavyweight division in boxing has not been what it used to be. Ali and Frazier, and then you work your way down to Tyson and you know, those guys. It hasn't been the same way. And you're like you said, yeah, it's good to have the Manny Pacquiaos and it's good to have the Mayweathers and the Wars, but they can't carry boxing by themselves, you know. So that's definitely I totally agree with that comment.
Yeah.
Speaking of NASCAR, since we have a NASCAR, you know, specialist to my right here, it looks like Dale Earnhardt Jr. just signed an exclusive contract with NBC. Did I see something along those lines, or wants to have a future with NBC?
He's currently signed with NBC as a play-by-play guy, or an analyst, a color guy. I mean,
yeah, he says,
good for him.
Has a bright future that's quite possibly with some of the greatest. Oh, okay, so this is him. They're talking about him, how he analyzed the race in Phoenix, is what it looks like they're talking about. Okay,
I like Dale Jr. as a color guy. He's a great interviewer. If you ever get a chance to check out his podcast, the Dirty Mo podcast, it's great. He's a great interviewer. His Mark Martin interview was excellent. When he back before the pandemic, when they could have people in studio, he interviewed so many guys. His Richard Childress interview was awesome. He's funny. He's smart. He's very knowledgeable. He's very relaxing to watch him ask questions and engage his interviewees. So I highly recommend him as an interviewer in his podcast. His TV work, his color work, it's okay. It's not, but I like Jeff Gordon better.
I've got
Jeff Gordon too.
I've got a chance to listen to a couple of his podcasts. Is it to me, or is the podcast studio in the back of like a store? Is it that? Does he own the store?
It's supposed to be a race shop.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay, I knew it was something.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like modeled after a 1960s race shop, like you would see in like maybe his granddad had, something like that. Kind of, they got, all kinds of different NASCAR memorabilia. They got all those cool die-cast cars. So many of those die-casts are awesome. I'd be like dying for one. I'm like, oh, I'd love to have some of those. Those are cool. I'd love to have a video like that. That would be dope.
So you guys both agree that Gordon is better as a play-by-play over Dale Jr.
Okay. From a pure analyst standpoint, yeah. As an interviewer, I much prefer Dale Jr. Like if they're doing a talkie segment, like if they're like a pre-race segment, where I'd rather see Dale Jr. do that, because Dale Jr. is much more. He's a lot younger than Jeff, because he's like 10 or 15 years younger than Jeff. So he's a lot more fun. He's a lot more engaging. But when it comes to analyzing the race, like calling a race between, like I like Mike Joy and Jeff Gordon better than and I forget who the lead play-by-play on NBC is off the top of my head, but him and Burton and Earnhardt. I like the Fox broadcast better myself.
Are there more races on Fox compared to NBC, or a lot of the races?
What about 18-18?
But really, during the year, I mean, Fox gets the first half, but then NBC takes over in
second half.
Earlier part of the summer.
They split the season.
It's pretty much right in half, yeah. I think Fox gets 17 and NBC gets 19, something like that. They think they cut that deal that way, so that because Fox wanted the Daytona 500. Right. So
that's cool.
Fox always has used to be when in 2001 when they first signed the deal, when they signed the first deal, after the first post millennial deal, Fox got the 2001 Daytona 500, and them and NBC alternated every year until I think 2010 was the last year that NBC and Fox had the exclusive, because I think 2010 was when ABC came back in. So Fox had the first the first 17 races to up front. They had the Daytona 500 to Sonoma, which was Sears Point Sears Point, Sonoma, the California road course. And then TNT at the time took over and had 6 races. They had the summer stretch. and then at the I forget, it's after the first 6 races, the second half of the season, that's when ABC got it.
Yes.
And then in 2000, I think it was 11, that's when ABC took over fully and NBC dropped out altogether. Then in 2000, I forget when exactly, 2015, 2014, maybe it was even earlier than that. It might have been 2013. NBC would kill off Versus and would relaunch that channel as NBC Sports, NBCSN.
Yes.
And then in 2015, 16, somewhere in there, that's when NBC reacquired the rights to broadcast NASCAR races from ABC and ABC ESPN. Okay. And that's been, they've been doing it, and then that's how it's been ever since. And part of that renegotiation was that NBC would get the back half of the schedule and would get a couple extra races because Fox would get the Daytona 500.
Because ABC airs IndyCar, right? They're most
no, actually, that ended 3 years ago now, and that's on NBC now.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. That was last year. Yeah, last year was the first NBC Daytona or Indy 500, and that was a joke. It was every 5-10 laps they were going to commercial, and nobody was happy.
Right.
Nobody was happy. It was a very unhappy TV audience.
No,
was it the announcing crew that was messing up, or what was it?
No, it was a broadcast. They were going every 10 laps. They were going to every 10 laps on the 10th lap. They were going to commercial for 2 minutes.
Pretty dumb.
It was terrible. The broadcast was whoever was producing it was not on his game.
Yeah, that is kind of stupid. That is kind of dumb.
No, it was bad.
Speaking of the new NASCAR owners, Michael Jordan will be owning a team this year.
That's right.
Yeah. So I have a question. How do you guys think he will do as a NASCAR owner? Because that is the question that was brought up.
Well,
the jury's still out.
Yeah,
you can't judge. I'm gonna put a moratorium on this because in 2021 you're gonna have it's a lame duck year for the current gen car. We know it's going away at the end of the year, no matter what happens.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be launching a new car in 2022. So you're going to have a whole new ball game. You're starting over, and they're not going to get a break-in period either. Soon as when they close the shops in November of next year, so like a week from now, you've got a year left with this car. That's it. You got 36 more races with this car that we've got today. And that's it. And the car's garbage after that. They're worthless. There's nothing you can do with them. So 2021 is a lame duck year for the car. So I'm going to give them a pass on 2021. If I think one top 5, 3 or 4 top 10s, running an average of 18 to 25, that's a successful year. Maybe they can reach up there, sneak in there, steal a win at a plate track, Daytona, Talladega. Maybe have a couple of strong runs at some of the short tracks. And who knows? Maybe you come back into the playoffs, get into 16th. They've got a lot of they've got a lot of partners, a lot of strong sponsorship. McDonald's came on board, handful of others, Columbia Wear, DoorDash. They're all with that team now. It's about trusting your personnel. You know, Michael Jordan may be the greatest basketball player who ever lived. But what does he know about owning a NASCAR team?
Right, and he's not really. It wasn't that grieving over the Charlotte Hornets. I mean, he didn't really help the team build a championship. So, you know, like you said, the jury's out. I mean, he doesn't really know how to run a basketball team. So, how's he going to handle racing? I mean, you know, it just doesn't add up. You know,
that's when you have to
great owners all the time, and vice versa. So, you know, I'm very skeptical about it myself. I kind of thought it was a joke at first, but like, no, I don't see it. You know, I mean, I could be wrong, but I really don't see how he's gonna, you know, do well as an owner of NASCAR. He's bad enough as a basketball owner. So I don't see it.
I say to be a great owner, you have to be able to listen to your personnel. You got to put the right people in place to do the jobs, and then trust them to do the jobs and get the hell out of the way.
Right.
That's the only way he can be successful. He's like, I want you to do this. I want you to do that. I want you to do that. You do that. You know what you're doing. Y'all know what you're doing. Let's get it done.
I've got it. Save the Last Dance Parts 2, the auto racing years.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh. How about the Next Dance?
Right.
The Next Dance. Daytona 2021. I mean, you know, it's really not hard to be a great owner if you surround yourself with great people and you trust them, and you've got to be hands on, hands off in a way. You can't be in there, you know, like a Jerry Jones where you're always trying to micromanage every little thing. You've got to be more active than, say, maybe a Martha Ford, and where you go, okay, we need all of these things done. Here's a list of everything we want to accomplish. Here's a list of everything that everybody needs to get done. Here you go. Give it out. Delegate. Do your jobs. and then when you go and you come in and you're, that's done. That's done. You walk through the shop.
Here's that. Here. Now quit bugging me. Yeah.
When you walk, you know, you don't know everything, but you know that the guys that you've hired know what they're doing.
They don't know everything, but they don't want to admit it.
And you can trust them to do their jobs, you'll be fine.
Yep. Yeah, no. Okay. Yeah, I agree with you guys. I don't know how it's going to go. I think it's something that he's trying, you know, again, like Lewis said, he does own the Hornets right now. And I guess the organization's trying to turn around. They drafted, you know, LaMelo Ball, I think, second overall. So, it is what it is, you know, but we'll have to wait and see how the NASCAR season goes, and maybe he does have a driver. And like Adam said, there's where you surround yourself with the right people. I mean, not so much that he's an owner, but John Lynch, when he went to the 49ers, he didn't know how to be a general manager. But you know what he did? Surrounded himself with the right people, and now he's a successful GM. So there you go. If you surround yourself with the right people,
I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but it's.
Yeah.
It doesn't always turn out that way. I mean,
I'm not saying it won't. I'm not saying it will or it won't. I'm saying that 2001 or that 2021 is a lame duck year. That anything that happens this year is good, bad, or indifferent. Outside of winning a championship, that anything that happens this year is probably not worth noting, because 2022, you put a whole new year in, whole new car, whole new line. You're gonna have a whole new schedule. Who knows where we're going to be racing? This next year, we've got 7 road courses on the circuit. Those road courses could bomb out, and we'll go back to 2 in 2022.
Yeah.
It could be very unsuccessful. And there could be only 2 or 3 more years of NASCAR as we know it left. And this next gen car doesn't. If the next gen car doesn't bring competition up to a much more sustainable level,
I get it.
Where you have to have competition on more than just 3 laps after a green flag. You can't throw the green flag and have everybody get strung out by 3 seconds and be watching the battle for 16th. That's just not sustainable. And so you have to have more racing throughout the entirety of the race, where people can't change the channel and just forget that the race was on and come back with 50 laps to go to see and not miss anything.
Right. Yep. No, I they've been talking, and then again too, again, like you said too, 2021, you're probably going to have all your fans back by then.
A majority.
Yeah, next year's not going to guarantee you're going to have a full. But 2022, I would hope that everyone will be able to go back to sporting events and have full crowds and stuff like that. So yeah, but yeah, you're right. If that new car fails, NASCAR could be a long forgotten sport. It could be just disappeared, and that would suck for a lot of the fans and stuff. So sports world will be a lot different if it does disappear. I will say that. I mean, I'm not the biggest NASCAR fan, but it will be kind of boring without it, in my opinion. Especially auto racing in general.
Yeah, it's a big catastrophe.
It would be boring without it, without it. Yeah. So, You know, let's hope that doesn't happen. Let's hope that the car next year ends up giving more competition, and we have a lot. You know, there's going to be, you know, with Jimmy Johnson stepping away, the next generation of drivers coming up, so maybe that'll spark some interest in the sport.
Yeah, you got a lot of young drivers that are.
Some guys come up, they've made names and before, and now they're in NASCAR. Okay, let's see what you can do now, kid. Put your money where your mouth is. And some of them succeed, and some of them disappear. That happens in every sport, you know. Hot shot draft pick goes into the pros, and then he disappears, or he turns out to be great, like Justin Hubert, for example. So I mean, it just depends on the guy, you know, who you are and how you handle everything. People handle things differently. Some people love pressure, other people fold underneath it. So it is what it is, man. It is what it is. All right, guys, I'm going to go into golf. And I saw today, I cannot believe, I don't know if you guys have got a chance to see it, but Charlie Wood, Tiger's son, if you watch him swing the golf, it looks exactly like Tiger. Exactly like Tiger.
I heard about that.
How old is he now?
He's 11. He's 11 years old. Yeah, he's I saw it when I was out eating. I got to see a replay. I'm like, oh, my God, there's Tiger's swing at 11 years old. There's Tiger's golf swing at 11. So they're playing in a father-son tournament this weekend. So that should be interesting to see if they come out on top with each other. But that's very, very interesting. And they had a long article about how Earl taught Tiger and how Tiger's teaching Charlie. So it's kind of the step down from each of them. I will say this, though. If Charlie does end up being on the PGA Tour, he's going to have a lot of pressure on him because of his dad. I mean, I'm assuming just like with we were just talking about Dale Jr., same with him. His dad was a legend on the track. And you step in there and you got to, you have to be like your dad. Like, you got to be like your dad.
Everybody respects. That's the problem.
Yeah.
And that's not his dad. He's his own person.
Exactly.
I don't think that's ready to compare from father to son.
Yeah.
You're making him, set for a fall that way. Like, oh, you're not as good as your father. You're just a wannabe. Like you're terrible. No, you can't put that kind of pressure on him or anybody else who's the son, and add to the father, because it's not the same. And it's not supposed to be the same.
Yeah.
Totally agree with you, Lewis. Yep. Couldn't agree more.
Something does.
You can't put pressure on a son or even a daughter for that matter. Look at Layla Ali, for example. Like maybe one of the greatest boxers, maybe the greatest boxer of all time. That's your dad.
Yeah.
I'm just saying
she was a great boxer in her own right, though.
Yeah, she was, and she is. Yeah.
You can't expect an 11-year-old to come out and swing a stick like his dad. I mean, it'll be interesting to watch him grow up over the next 4 or 5 years. When can you go? How old do you have to be before you could play on the PGA Tour?
16.
That's what I thought so.
Yeah, he's got about 5.
He's got a couple of years before he's going to be before they're going to even want to bring him on.
Because I think the ones who was the junior tournament, I think, gets an exemption to the Masters.
Correct. That's correct.
And I think so. I think 16 is when you get in.
I want to say, Lewis, that the top 4 or 5 amateur players get invited to the Masters every year.
I take that back because I think on the female side, Michelle Lee was only 14.
Yeah.
Although she wasn't that great, though. Was a pro, not really.
She was okay. She was never that.
That
bag of chips.
Supposedly, according to what I've read about her, she had a baby, so she's going to come back. She wants to come back and play. Go, I'm going to make a second run at my career. So I don't know how that. She's a decent player, but she never. The way that when she came in, like Lewis said, when she came in, everybody was like, "Yep, she's the female Tiger." She never lived up to that.
No, she never did.
Well, that anyway, but I'm just saying she never lived up to those expectations as much as we, expected her to be. And I think didn't Tiger turn pro when he was 18? I think he was 18 when he turned pro. So, we'll see how Charlie does. I hope he has a great. If he does become a golfer, I hope he has a successful golf career. I really do. In all honesty, yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Now we'll move to the tennis. We haven't talked about tennis in a while. I don't think I've talked about tennis in a long time. But did I see something that Roger Federer is?
Yeah.
He made a speech that shocked people. Is it he's pressing to make his final run to Wimbledon and the 2021 Olympics in Tokyo? So he has doubts about playing in the Australian Open. So I guess that scares the people that are running that tournament, because I guess it's scheduled to start on February 8th. So that's it.
Yeah, Super Bowl.
No, he was 20.
You think that tennis needs to prepare for him to soon hang it up? I think Roger's getting to that.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
To walk away. I don't know what else he can do. He's done everything. Yeah. I don't know what else you want out of him. In all reality, he's won everything. I don't get, and you have the next. You have Djokovic, who's been the dominating one in the men's side for a long time anyway. So, I'm not saying that Federer can't beat him, but
Yeah, I don't know. I don't.
Even Nadal still hanging around. He's going to play in the Australian Open. But I mean, you have Nadal. Those three have been like the three since
Agassi.
Yes,
since Agassi and Sampras and all those guys. So, that's, I mean, at least on the, if you flip it over to the females, it changes up. You have Serena. She's kind of still there, but there's a lot of other women that are now dominating that side of the tour. So we'll have to wait and see when she finally steps away, what's going to happen with that side of the bracket.
Right.
So here we go here. Now, here's another MMA story. So now Jake Paul wants to offer Conor McGregor $50 million to box him. So now Jake offered Conor McGregor, and now Logan wants to fight Amanda Nunes. So I don't know what the hell is going on in the YouTube world.
Right.
So
we're nuts.
Yeah. Well, you have let's see here. Dana White saying this. What does he say this? My team sent you $50 million offering this morning, $50 million cash proof of funds for the biggest offer you'd ever been offered, but you're scared to fight me, Connor. You're ducking me because you don't want to lose. Not to a fucking YouTuber. You're a boxer. I'm cool as a boxer. So,
yeah.
I don't.
He's just stirring the pot. That's all that is.
That's how I look at that. That's how I look at that. But yeah, they're nuts. I think they're just trying to make headlines, and that's.
Oh yeah, he's just stirring the pot. Nothing's gonna come of that.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, if you want to pay me $50 million, first thing, that check's got to clear the bank.
That's right.
Once the check clears the bank, all right then. We'll sign. Yeah. The check clears the bank. I'll sign on the dotted line.
Yeah,
not a problem. You bring me $50 million worth of cash money.
Yeah,
we can talk.
Use $15.5 million apiece. I'd be happy.
Yeah,
works for me.
Sounds good to me.
18 to 17.5 million, to be honest. So
we gotta pay taxes on that too. So.
New tax bracket for all three of us.
Right.
I have left over.
New tax bracket.
Yeah.
We still take home what, 9 million clear?
Right.
Yeah. Fine with me.
Yeah.
I mean, I could actually afford some beard wax now.
Yeah.
I could afford to take the pork rinds out of the bag.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
All right, guys. So we'll start talking. So baseball has not announced yet when they're going to start their season.
Mm-hmm. Go again.
It could mean that the season could be 140 games or fewer.
Yeah, I think it'll be a truncated season.
I know they've been talking to about hubs. Obviously, it says Arizona and Florida. Oh no, there's where cases are spiking. I'm sorry, wrong states.
Oh yeah, of course.
So
no.
But
no, probably not.
We'll have to see how COVID plays itself out.
Well, the manager was saying that they're looking to start on time with spring training in February. Yeah, I don't see it really happening. I mean, everyone else is being delayed. The NBA was delayed 4 weeks. The NHL supposedly will come back in January. I don't know what year, but they said January. Oh.
Yeah.
The only one that really started on time was the NFL. Baseball, you don't know. I mean, this is kind of tricky. And what are they going to do about Toronto? I mean, will they go through the same thing again? Will they play in Buffalo? I mean, because, the borders are still closed. So,
right.
How do you factor that in? I mean, we're going to have to go through that mess again.
Yeah.
Could be worse than coming to New Jersey.
Yeah, right.
How awful.
And even that's even without a pandemic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
kid.
So,
I guess it hasn't been announced yet. Rob Manfred,
right.
Rob Manfred.
Nobody.
Not really. But
Rob Manfred. If it wasn't for Gary Bettman, Rob Manfred would be the worst commissioner in all major sports.
Don't get me started with Bettman.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Imbecile. Ugh.
It's a dirty word around.
27 years later.
I don't know.
For this league, and he's still commissioner.
Yep.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you people?
Again, ask the owners of the NHL franchises.
And Goodell's no prize either. So
no. He get hurt?
Yeah, car came up lame.
Oh dear.
That's a groin.
Or a hamstring.
Or an ankle.
Let me see. I think it's
his groin.
Ugh.
Yeah. That did not look pretty, right? There. Yeah.
That's worse for a guy getting hit in the groin. Ugh.
He didn't even get hit. He just came up lame.
No, I don't feel good. Ugh.
No.
Locker room. Yep, there they go.
Oh dear.
And they just took him right to the room, huh?
Yep. So good that the MLB finally elevated the Negro Leagues to Major League status. I was kind of happy to hear about that on Wednesday. Negro Leagues ran from 1920 to 1948. They've officially been elevated to Major League status by MLB. Called a move that was long oversighted, said everyone who played in the leagues during the 28-year period will become part of Major League Baseball history. So here's the question I have. I know that they have a section, guys, in the MLB Hall of Fame in Cooperstown. Are they going to still call it the Negro League, or are they just going to just open it up to
the
Hall of Fame? How will they
call the Hall?
Okay.
They wouldn't separate that. No way.
Okay. Well, no, what I'm saying is, would you take the name down? Would you take the Negro League down?
Yes, they would.
MLB? Okay.
Yes, they would.
Okay. So speaking of that, we know right now that the MLB is having their winter meeting. So here are 10 win-win trades coming out. Again, these are rumors.
Guys, right.
I'm not buying it.
Rumors. The first one is Steve Matz to the San Diego Padres. So that's from the Mets. Now.
Uh-oh.
So again, this is by Ken Rosenthal.
Sorry, man.
So again, these are not my trade. These are him. So what would it be is that the Padres would get left-handed pitcher Steve Matz. The Mets would get right-handed pitcher David Bednar would go to the Mets in exchange. So that's okay.
I don't want to give up a left-handed starter
for a righty.
Okay. No. You can't have enough. You can never have too many left-handed starters. They're so hard for right-handers to hit, and most batters are right-handed. So I'm gonna say no to that. Thanks, but no thanks.
The next one, guys, is Joe Musgrove and Aaron Frazier to the Philadelphia Phillies. And the deal would have this: the Phillies would get right-handed pitcher Joe Musgrove and second baseman Adam Frazier. The Pirates would get right-handed pitcher Francisco Morales and left-handed pitcher Eric Miller. So you get 2 pitchers for an exchange of a pitcher and a second baseman. The Phillies
I would be interested in that. I would be interested in that if I was the Pirates.
Okay. The next one, guys, is Josh Bell and Jameson Talon to the Yankees. So here's how this would break down. The Yankees would get first baseman Josh Bell, right-handed pitcher James Talon. Pirates would get third baseman Miguel Otoar and center fielder Eston Corral. I'm guessing that those guys are in the minor league system.
Yeah, that sounds like prospects.
Must be prospects. Okay,
I'd do it. If I was the Yankees, I'd do it. If the Pirates came to me and said, "Hey, we'll give up Josh Bell for 2 prospects that nobody's ever going to hear of,"
yeah,
I'm in.
The next one would be Zach Wheeler to the Los Angeles Angels. So here's what it would be. The Angels would get Wheeler. The Phillies would get Brandon Marsh and right-handed pitcher Oliver Ortega in exchange for Wheeler. I don't know.
Oh, that's steep, though.
With that trade.
That's steep because Ortega's a great. I like his upside. I don't know if I could pull the trigger on that one.
Okay.
Not for Wheeler alone.
Okay. Yeah, that's it. Wheeler would be just Wheeler going back to the Angels. The Bills would get.
They'd have to hold on to some of Wheeler's cap hit.
Yeah.
And they'd have to eat it. They'd have to eat a lot of his salary before I'd be willing to give up.
And then there's the next one, guys, is Sonny Gray to the Twins. And it would be Twins get Sonny Gray and outfielder Estrada Aquino. The Reds get shortstop Royce Lewis in exchange.
Done. I'd do it. If I was Minnesota, I'd do that in a heartbeat. Oh, yeah.
Then the next one is Carlos Correa to the Reds. So it would be the Reds would get Correa, Astros would get infielder, outfielder Nick Senzel, and right-handed pitcher Tejay Atone, if I'm pronouncing his last name correctly. So that's who they would get in return back from Cincinnati.
Was that Nick Castellanos?
No, it says Nick Sell, S-E-N-C-L. I don't know who he is.
I've never heard of either one of those guys. If I was the Astros, I'd pass on that.
Yep, he's the Reds would get. He's a 25-year-old prospect, so he's one of the Reds prospects in their minor.
I'm gonna have to hold.
Here's an interesting one that could affect somewhere in my neighborhood. The Dodgers acquired Blake Snell. Can't wait to see what this trade is.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the Dodgers get Blake Snell. Rays get Dustin May, Herbert Ruiz is a catcher, and right-handed pitcher Mitch White. I don't know. Wow. You're going to shit a lot of people if you get rid of Blake Snell. That's all I say.
That's not enough.
Yeah, they want. I know the price would be pretty high for him.
No, I mean, I know Oregon legalized drug use, but did California too? Because you got to be smoking something if you think I'm making that deal.
Especially since the Rays signed Mike Zunino to a 1-year deal. So you're not catcher. Yeah. I don't know what you're going to do. I don't know how good of a catcher Ruiz is. He's a top 10 prospect. So there you go. He's not even major league ready. So there you go.
Unless I was looking to sweeten that up with a couple and make some more moves to bring that to if I was sending Snell to the Dodgers, bringing that catching prospect in to move him to Minnesota for a bat, because then I can't remember Miguel's. I can't remember, it's Soto or something like that. That would be the only thing I could think.
Yeah.
Because that's not nearly enough for Blake Snell. Blake Snell's probably one of the top 5 pitchers in the American League right now.
I would agree with that. Nolan Arenado to the Nationals. So here's what this trade would go down. The Nationals would get third baseman Carter K. Bloom and right-handed pitcher Jackson Rutledge. Rutledge is a #1 prospect right-hander, and Carter K. Bloom is a #1 prospect third baseman. So the Nationals would get 2 prospects back, and yes. Wait a minute, how does that work?
No, it would be the other way around.
Yeah,
the Rockies
would get the 2 prospects. Okay.
No. I need, if I'm trading away an everyday starter, I need an everyday starter in return. I don't necessarily need, okay, I'm going to trade away a third baseman. I need somebody that I can put in the lineup that I can use to sell tickets. I need, Nolan Arenado is a money maker.
Yeah.
And Colorado has kind of been on the skids the last couple of years. They need some stability. I just couldn't do that trade, not for that price. It's too low.
The next one would be Trevor Story to the Yankees. So here's how that goes.
Oh, I like that. Do it.
Yeah. Trevor Story would go, and the Rockies would get third baseman Miguel Angular and right-handed pitcher Clark Schmidt.
You can keep him.
Yeah, no, that's a done deal, man.
Done deal.
Yeah, no, that's.
I like it, Trevor Story.
Yeah, that's that. Yeah. I believe that would be getting away with highway robbery right there if they're the Yankees, man.
There we go.
The next one would be Lindor to the Toronto Blue Jays. So it would be him going to Toronto. Cleveland would get Maurice Garreau Jr. and left-handed pitcher Scott Moss would come back to the Indians will be the Indians this year. They're not going to be the Indians next year.
Maybe.
Right.
We'll see.
Yeah,
how that goes.
I think that we can get into that in a minute if you want. So can you run through that again? Lindor goes to Toronto for who?
Lindor
a couple of prospects.
Let's see here. A second. Let's get back up here. Lindor goes. Cleveland gets left fielder Maurice Garreau Jr. and left-handed pitcher Scott Moss. Let me see.
Thing. I do love a left-handed pitcher, man. They're just so weird and wonky, and it's hard to hit them. I do love a left-handed pitcher.
So do I. I'm left-handed myself.
See, the funny thing is, Bo Bichette is their shortstop right now. So Lindor would be obviously there, or they would move Bichette to another position.
Unless they move Lindor to third base.
Yeah.
You could put Lindor on third and keep Lomachenko there at short.
Yeah.
I don't know. Or you move both of them. You could move Lomachenko, whatever his name is there. I don't know. It's tempting. I love a left-handed pitcher.
So that would be that. Those are 10 trades that could or could not go down during the meetings. So, so we can go ahead now and talk to you about what the Indians are going to do in 2021. If they're going to change their name or not change their name. So let me read what it says here. Let's see. The National Congress of American Indians commenced today's announcement by Major League Baseball franchise of Cleveland to retire its Indians name and mascot. The club is planning to use the Indians name on their uniforms for the 2021 MLB season before changing names. Another option would have been going to the route of the National Football League's Washington franchise, which dropped its offensive nickname in July. The club has been known as the Washington Football Team. We do not want to be the Cleveland Baseball Team. Or any other interim name, Dolan says. Okay. All right. Well, I don't know.
I could understand a logo redesign because the logo is kind of outdated, but the Indians name is not derogatory. It was never meant to mock anyone. It's actually honoring one of their former players, one of their original players when they were the Cleveland Spiders. I believe his name was Knapp. I forget what his first name was, but he was one of the first Native American athletes to find success. At the end of the 1800s and the turn of the 20th century. And I still think that unless they were to change the name to the Naps or something, that might put everybody to sleep.
Yeah. With the Redskins, I mean, I don't think it's a defensive name either.
I understand why people thought Redskins was up. I can understand. I don't agree with it. I never thought that the Redskins were necessarily an offensive name because, I mean, it wasn't used in that offensive context. I think context matters. I think, I saw something I think Crazy Horses would be a good name. Or no, I know what it was. It was somebody suggested the Italians. And I was like, why not Italian stallions? And do some kind of a Mustang or something, a horse. I was like, that could be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they really.
Honestly, I think after 105 years, it's like it hasn't hurt anybody, and who's it going to hurt in the next 105 years?
No one. But these stupid, idiotic, politically correct or incorrect girls are make it, have just loused everything up, and they're just trying to make a bigger issue than it needs to be. I mean, this has gone too far. Forget the card, this crapola, okay?
Right. Just put the politics in general.
Well,
can we just get back to sports for just being sports and escape from reality?
If that's
supposed to be.
If that's the case, you take the Indians away, the Redskins away. So who's going to go next? The Braves?
Blackhawks.
The Blackhawks?
The Braves.
The Braves said they're not changing, and I can't imagine Atlanta being willing to change. It's Atlanta. No. I'm 3 hours from Atlanta.
And
no way.
Or Atlanta Hawks.
The Hawks.
Atlanta Hawks, but aren't they? They're named after the birds, though.
Bird. That's
Blackhawks Hawks is okay. Maybe it is a bit of a stretch, but I think it might be on the list too.
I mean, I know down here, Florida State's not changing their name.
No, the Seminoles were like, we like the money.
Yeah,
because they licensed the rights to use the name Seminoles from the tribe, and the tribe's like, we like the money. You can use the name.
Trust me on this. They own a huge casino in Tampa.
Yeah.
At the Hard Rock. And you turn around, they're expanding.
I actually used to go to the Indian casinos when I used to live back with my parents, and they're gorgeous casinos, and it's a lot of fun. So it's. I understand some of the names being offensive but other names like Indians or even the Miami Redhawks, Miami of Ohio, the Redhawks, the Miami of Ohio were an Indian tribe that settled in the Ohio River Valley many thousands of years, hundreds of years ago, and that's where they actually have no relation to the Miami Indians of Florida.
Mm-hmm.
They're two totally separate entities.
Yeah, it's hopefully I know they're gonna change. I know they're gonna change the name, and it's disappointing because they've been the Cleveland Indians for so long. Yeah. If you're gonna change any team in Cleveland, why not the Browns?
Well, hold on, they're respectable now. I mean, they have been improved.
They're gonna make the playoffs this year. They're gonna make the playoffs.
I mean, they go 16 just a few years ago to this. I mean, I think we can cut some slack.
In 2020, we're going to see the Cleveland Browns make the postseason.
Hey,
I know. I could make a joke about Lamar Jackson shitting on them, but hey,
that's actually true. That's true.
Right.
That's true.
Time.
He denies it, of course, but we all know he was taking the Browns to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. The funny thing is that used to be Cleveland. Baltimore was Cleveland before they moved back. The owner moved them back to Cleveland. So a new owner came along and brought the Browns back. But we'll see if they change the name. I mean, if you don't think it's offensive, then change the Chief Wahoo logo. Then get rid of that.
Yeah, okay. Retired Chief Wahoo, that's fine. I can understand the kind of the grinning, mentally retarded Indian dude being offensive. I can understand that. I can see where you're coming from. But the name Indians is not offensive because it wasn't meant to offend anyone. It was meant to honor a player who was a Native American.
So all do that, but they don't seem to get the message about it. Do that?
No, I know.
Right.
I know. Because learning history would just be a terrible thing.
Yeah.
Mine is a terrible thing.
Of course, those that fail history are doomed to repeat it.
Exactly.
And those who know history are doomed to watch everyone else repeat it anyway.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, we can move on, guys, to the association. Right. And we all know that Mr. Giannis signed his big extension the other day. Stay with the Washington. I think you guys both said he was going to stay with the Bucks. So
I didn't see him going anywhere.
So
did you see him going anywhere, Lewis?
Not at all. He carries that team. He is that team.
He's the man. I mean, he's a big man on campus. Why would you want to leave? Yeah. And for where?
Paid $228 gazillion.
Right?
Yeah. Did you hear about his 5-year plan, though?
No, what's his plan?
5-year plan to win a championship and to become a daddy. Not necessarily in that order, but
I was gonna say, there's some babies that are he could have 5 babies in that time if he really wanted.
Well, with that kind of money, he could.
I mean, should they be lining up out the door? I bet you they were lining up out the door even before he had all that money.
It was the biggest lining up at the door right now. For be honest, there was on Sports.
So,
oh Lord.
I forgot.
Now that the contract was signed, here are the winners and losers from the deal being signed, according to ESPN.com. The winner would be the Bucks and their fans. Obviously, we just mentioned that him coming back, he is the team. He's only 26 years old, so that's
still got.
What do you mean only?
And so then they're not really. Even though it's such a massive contract, even if they backloaded it, it still wouldn't be that bad. At 31, if they were still struggling, they'd be able to move him at 31, even if he was a 35, 40, $50 million a year guy. He'd still be movable.
The first loser of the deal, obviously, was the Miami Heat, because they couldn't get Kevin Durant last year. They had LeBron James leave in 2010, so that's a loss for Pat Riley and company.
I think that's a bit of a stretch. I honestly, I don't see how you can say it's a loser, because he didn't court any, I could say it being a loser if they had brought him in and had talked to him and he had gone back to Milwaukee. But from what I understand, he didn't even entertain any other offers.
No.
He was just staying in Milwaukee, and that was going to be the end of it.
Yeah, I don't really. I'll listen to the other person's takes, but I'm going to say I don't really think there were any losers. Nobody even had a chance to play the game. You can't have any losers if you're not playing the game.
Well, the next one that they mentioned is the Raptors. So that's another. They said losers, the Raptors. So again, if he didn't, then the Mavericks are listed down. Another winner would be Giannis and his family. Obviously, Lewis just mentioned he wanted to become a dad.
I heard in the news this morning.
The loser would be the free agency hype machine. That's kind of true.
Yeah. But me and Lewis there had it pegged for him staying in Milwaukee anyway. So, I mean,
I think 98% of us did, of all basketball fans, pretty much knew
right
in Milwaukee.
The final winner, guys, is the NBA. So that's
it really. The NBA really did luck out on Giannis staying in Milwaukee and not jumping ship and going to a New York or LA or Miami or trying to create a super team somewhere else.
Right.
It really is good for the NBA to kind of open up the Midwest market a little bit more. Chicago is always a big market when Detroit's good, but Milwaukee is going to open up that mid Canada corridor there, for want of a better term. Minnesota. Yeah. Because they're in Milwaukee, which is actually in Wisconsin. But southern Minnesota, further south than the Timberwolves are going to be available. North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Iowa. There's places that don't have a basketball team. They're going to look for somebody to root for, and Giannis is a big star.
Yep, actually, guys, the sponsor that I have on my Monday show, Arena Eats, that's where their home base is at in Milwaukee. So that's where they're starting.
Here? I don't know.
I don't have one. I don't have one down in here. I don't have one.
No. I mean, do they have it in my area? Do you think
they're working down those? I had them on my show a couple weeks ago. Because of COVID, it's kind of slowed They were going,
of course,
but because of COVID, it's kind of slowed everything down. What I hear, again, what they want to do is they want to try to get you, and we've all done it. You're in line at a sporting event before a game or during a period or during a quarter or whatever, and you miss it. What they're trying to do is they want you to order the food, then go pick it up, or have them come to you, your seat, or whatever it is.
For me, if they did that,
they want
that'd be awesome.
They want to set it up that way to make it easier for the fans to stay in their seat. If they don't miss anything. That's what the goal. From when I interviewed them, that's what their goal. That's what they say.
Yeah,
that would be awesome because it would help. It would help alleviate a lot of congestion on the concourse.
Yeah, that well too. Yeah, you're not going to be, 50 people deep, and at one area where you can maybe it's down to 20 or 10 instead of having 50 people.
Right. Well, and it'll help with traffic flow going to the bathrooms and going to the consumer.
Yep. Oh yeah, that's the next solution they need to come up with.
There's a tube that takes you right into the restroom.
Yeah, exactly.
Beat me up, Scotty.
The next entry.
Right.
So on the NBA, guys, obviously James Harden is reaching his breaking point in Houston. Do you see a trade happening? Do you think he'll stay?
No. He's too much of a mess. He's let himself go. Did you see him come into camp yesterday? He's like 30 pounds overweight. He looks like a slob.
That's the thing I want to say there.
Excuse me.
Do you think that he is doing that on purpose?
Yep. Yes. Yes.
He's throwing a temper tantrum like a 5-year-old. As a professional tantrum thrower, he's throwing a tantrum.
He does.
He's putting chocolate syrup on everything he eats, and he's being a perpetual man-child. I'm sorry, I just don't like James Harden. I don't like him.
No. Hey, I called an owner a piece of crap on my Monday show, so you're fine. It is what it is, man. Don't worry about it.
I mean, the dude makes more money than I'll ever see in my entire lifetime to play a game.
Right.
And he can't even put his big boy pants on and suck it up for a year.
Yeah.
I put my big boy pants on.
That leaks.
I put my big boy pants on and go to work at a job I hate, making less than most people, making what everybody else makes.
Yep.
Been there.
So I could put my food on the table because I'm always hungry.
Yep.
And I don't get to throw a temper tantrum. I don't get to pout and whine. I just got to do it.
Yeah, because if we did, we get fired.
Yep.
They'd find somebody else.
There's 100 other people waiting with their hand out for my job.
Yep.
Been there.
Yep.
Excuse me.
Oh, easy.
So we can go ahead, guys. We can move on to college basketball. And it looks like
I missed the segment last week. It's disappointing.
Connor Johnson, the kid that collapsed on Saturday in the morning.
How is he doing?
He's doing well.
He's breathe on his own now.
Right.
Good deal.
He did a Zoom call with his teammates. He's talking to his family. So
Unreal.
They don't know what happened.
Well, it turns out he had a heart condition.
Did he have a heart condition?
Okay.
I assumed something like that. I feared it was a hole in his heart.
Well, I mean, that's scary moving forward.
I'm going to ask a question that may sound dumb, but I'm going to say, like, if you got a heart condition, then how are you even playing the game?
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you have a heart condition, then how are you going to – what is your future going to look like? Because you can't play basketball if you have a heart condition. I don't know.
Depends on how severe it is. It depends on whether it's fixable, treatable, or not.
Yeah.
If they can go in, they may be able to. If he has a hole in his heart, they may be able to go in and close it up, and he may be able to come back in a year. It all depends on how bad the condition is. It's one of those things where, like, if you're not exercising regularly, if you're not doing that up and down, you'll never know. Your heart will never peak.
No.
And so what will happen a lot of times is your heart will peak, and it'll finally go past its breaking point. Like a normal person might have 40 or 50 years before their heart goes past their breaking point. But because as athletes are constantly peaking their heart and peaking their heart rate all the time, it exacerbates that condition. It brings it on a lot quicker.
Okay.
And so that's why you wouldn't know that you had that condition, because most of us are not athletes at at an incredibly high level. So we don't know that we might have a heart condition. And for 10, 15 years, you can get away with playing basketball with an with a heart condition, and then all of a sudden that condition will finally manifest itself and present symptoms. And unfortunately, in this case, it was collapse.
Yeah. Yep. Well, right now, guys, there are actually some college basketball games going on. Lewis's favorite team, Creighton, beat St. John's 6. Kansas is up 58-57 after two. They're winning. I think they're going to win by 1 point. There's 6 seconds left in the game.
Yeah, it is. It's a 1-point victory.
Okay. Oh, then they win. Okay.
Yeah, I got that because I'm waiting for the Seton Hall game to start on Fox.
Okay.
I was going to say Seton Hall is getting ready to play Marquette.
Okay, that's why. I have. Dang it!
I've been watching
top 25. There's a lot more games than just that. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, but I've
been watching football, so.
There we go. Okay, so there's been a couple finals today. Speaking of that, guys, what has there been any teams outside of Kentucky getting off to a slow start? Duke's not getting off to the greatest start. Anyone jump out at you so far in the early season in college basketball? Starting
Michigan 6-0.
There you go. Okay.
Zaga's still on top.
Zaga's the number one in the country.
Now, to add on the last week about Krzyzewski's comments about how this was poorly done, I mean,
I don't know how you could have handled it any better.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Mike Krzyzewski. He's one of my favorite college basketball coaches, but I disagree with him in this case. I think, I mean, it was gonna be a shit show no matter what you did, because unless outside of having an NBA style bubble where you had a lot, you knew that you were gonna take a risk no matter what, because you can't have guys away from.
It's part of the game.
It is. It's just part of it's part of life. You, me, Brad, we all got to go to work on Monday. Some of us got to work tomorrow. So
I got to work tomorrow.
Yeah, I gotta be in the office tomorrow. So I'm not sure if you got going on. If you got a job or whatever. But
I wish I could say I did, but that's another story. So
right, I understand. And we had to work throughout this whole thing. So I mean, why should anybody else? It's much easier for a basketball team to run a limited, a limited squad. Just having the 10 guys you need on the field plus the 3 or 4 coaches, and that's it. And the handful of officials, a couple of camera guys, and some equipment people, and it's you're gonna take a risk no matter what. But I want some basketball. Dang it!
Yeah, and hockey too. Hurry up,
hockey. I love college hockey. College hockey is awesome.
Yeah, college hockey. Yep.
Well, you get the idea.
I don't want to miss. I don't want to miss March Madness again this year.
No.
So
it was miserable without March Madness. I didn't have anything to do with myself for like last year. 2019. I came home after work and I was kicked on March Madness, and it was awesome. I watched basketball till I fell asleep.
Right. That's the beauty of it. I mean, that's a sure sign of spring is around the corner too.
Right.
You got the March Madness. It goes right into the beginning of April. Those are, with the exception of Christmas, it's my favorite 2 weeks of the year.
Right.
Well,
at the same time, though, we can't blame anybody for that because there was
no. I'm not blaming anybody. I'm just saying I was bummed that it was over.
Me too.
Before it even got started.
Yep. Nope.
But they did have like an alternate version of it back in the summer. They called it the basketball tournament. So at least it was something.
Yeah. Wasn't that high school players?
It's not the same presence as the NCAA tournament or the Euro 2 or or those other tournaments. The not invited tournament, not important tournament. But at least we had something that's something to look forward to. And I was actually glad to see some college basketball being played in the summer. I actually enjoyed watching it.
Yeah.
Even though 99% of the people did not.
I watched a little bit of it. It's pretty all right. I'm not, like I've said before, I'm not a huge basketball fan. So I love, but the March Madness is, it's awesome.
You bet.
Do you guys see a bubble for March Madness, so that everything?
I do.
If we can get one in, yeah, hell yeah. If that means having a tournament, I'm all for it.
Yeah,
do it.
I have a funny feeling that's probably what is going to happen. I'd say 90.
Well, I'm not be surprised with that.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if we went into a bubble in February.
That could be true too.
Don't push your luck, but no, that probably won't happen. But bubble the tournament, yeah, I do see that.
Okay. So
do it.
And so yeah, true,
absolutely.
So we'll go ahead, guys, and get into NCAA football. Obviously, Sarah Fuller made history, and her kicking career is now over because the game between Vanderbilt and Georgia got canceled on Saturday.
Well, what year was she?
I think she's a senior. I think
she's a senior. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I would have liked to have seen her go out there and do some, kicking.
Yeah.
I'm not more kicking. I mean,
yeah.
I mustn't throw in shade. I mean, I know I got on Lewis's show a couple weeks ago, and I said, I'm like, if we're gonna, I'll praise her when she does good, and I'll criticize her when she does bad.
Yeah,
right. I'm not gonna treat her any different than any other player on any other team. You want to come out here and you want to play like the boys, you're gonna get treated like the boys. When you do good job, attaboy. When you do bad job, bad boy.
Yeah.
That kickoff that she had in the game 3 weeks ago now was atrocious. That kick it went 25 yards and turned right. Unacceptable. She made the field. She made the extra point. Great job.
Yeah,
and that's how
the first time kicking in a football game. I mean, you expected it.
I expected it to go.
Cut her some slack.
No, would you cut a senior kicker that came off the men's team any slack?
For a first timer, yeah, I think I would. It was his first time.
No, I'm not gonna. No, I'm not gonna give maybe a little bit of slack, but it's gotta go down. If she had kicked it down the field, it can't go out of bounds. Other than that,
don't forget, she was a player.
Keep it between the lines, man.
Yeah, well, I'm happy that she got the opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna, if they want to give her the opportunity, if they want to give her the nod, if they think she's better than any of the other kickers that might be available, if she's the best player available, then by all means, suit her up and run her out there.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that if there was another more qualified player out there, it's Vanderbilt. This isn't This is SEC country. We're not putting, it's not Syracuse, it's not Stanford, it's not some, highfalutin liberal arts college that's looking to be PC. It's Vanderbilt in the heart of SEC. It's in Nashville, which is the deep South.
Yep.
So I'll give Vanderbilt a lot of respect for taking, it's SEC. I know Vanderbilt's not a very good football team. Not that Vanderbilt's ever been a very good football team. They probably should cancel their football team. But
basketball team too.
Yeah, probably. Just cancel sports altogether.
That school's not known for their athleticism at all.
No,
not
really. No.
I got an idea. How about she fights Amanda for the?
Hey, as long as she gets to wear her pads.
Yes. Yeah.
That would be safe.
Yeah, there you go. There's an idea. Let's pitch that to YouTube. Let's pitch that to YouTube.
Let's present it or ESPN.
Yeah.
Right.
Sarah,
YouTube.
Let's pitch that to them.
Yeah, there you go. So, pay-per-view.
So I guess the college football rankings came out. So here are the top. You have Alabama, Notre Dame, Clemson, Ohio State, Texas A&M, Iowa State, Florida lost LSU. That was embarrassing. Georgia, Cincinnati, Oklahoma, Coastal Carolina, USC, Northwestern, who will be playing in the Big Ten Championship this weekend. North Carolina, BYU, Miami, Louisiana, Texas, Oklahoma State, NC State, Tulsa, San Jose State, and Colorado wrap out the top 25. Again, we'll have to see how if Clemson Notre Dame Part 2 plays out. Obviously, I don't think Florida has a good enough defense to slow down Alabama. I don't think that's going to be a game. Who is the Big Ten? Is it Iowa State and Oklahoma? Is that the Big 12 championship this year?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, all right.
But I was reading something this morning on how, I'm just trying to think now. a team that has no losses is ranked lower than 3 teams that have 2 losses, and they're a higher contention for a bowl spot. I mean, is it me or is there something wrong with this system? What a shock. There's something wrong with this system for college football. Oh, what a surprise.
It's a lot. It's competition. Yeah. You can't play Upper Pigs Knuckle State 7 times a year and expect to be ranked higher than teams that play stiff competition, even with losses.
Yep.
That's true. But people in the top 10.
If you're looking at a team like Cincinnati, who's played anybody worth note, maybe Memphis. Did they play Memphis and UCF?
UCF.
Yep.
I mean, other than that name, who are their opponents? I mean, Florida lost to LSU, a very game LSU team, an LSU team that came out on a mission with a big chip on their shoulder and a lot to prove, got it done.
I figured it'd be thrown.
A&M lost. A&M lost to Alabama. I mean, everybody would have lost to Cincinnati beating Alabama. Don't think so.
No.
I don't think.
Let me look it up here. I had this this morning. Yeah. In the list here.
Give me another drink.
AndLl show you what I mean. Okay. Well, I can't. Well, you can't see it because it'll be.
Oh. You know, Are you on the? Are you on the StreamYards?
I'm on StreamYard, but I have to go to Facebook because that's where I do my articles.
Well, yeah, it's got screen share. If you hit screen share on StreamYards, that'll share your screen.
That I don't think I have. So I'll just go to my notes and I'll show you what I mean because I think the coach here is a point.
And then if I do,
well, if everybody disagrees with me, that's fine. But when I was reading the article this morning, I think the coach does make a point.
I guess the NCAA is allowing anyone that transfers this year to play immediately.
Good idea.
In college basketball. So if you transfer, you can play right away.
I think that's in all college sports.
But when I think they're bringing back.
All athletes. You see how I have the screen share there?
Can I bring that up?
You can actually.
Hang on a second. Bring that up. There we go.
Yeah, I see that.
And then I can show you whatever I'm looking at. And then just stop screen. Just like that. And so if you ever wanted to share an article or share something on your screen, that's how you would do that. You just hit screen share there. And then you hit shared screen share. We probably should do this off the air, but and then you open a new Chrome tab. I don't know if you're on Chrome or Firefox or whatever you're on.
Chrome.
So you open a Chrome tab, and then you click on that, and then you hit. It's going to say accept.
Yes.
And then you're going to click whichever you have Facebook, whatever your article is on. You just click on that one, and it's going to show up in the bottom, and then Lewis can bring it up, or Brad can bring it up for us.
Right. Yeah, but I just want to show play the article to prove a point here because I think I think the coach here does bring up points. So if this will cooperate here, yeah. Anyway, the article was mentioned this morning, so I have to go back down a bit. Yeah. All right.
So about the AAC commissioner being upset. Is that the one you're referring to?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. The AAC.
Okay, that's the next article that I have up here. So he wants to go back to the BCS ranking.
Yeah.
So that Cincinnati will be be picked by the committee to be in the national championship game. That's what he's saying. Or, well, yeah, because Cincinnati's not in the AAC right now. That's what he wants. That's what he wants. I guess that's what he wants.
Yes, he does.
I mean, again, like I said, I know, again, we've talked about this many times in the past. We know that Cincinnati would not be, they're not going to beat Alabama. But on the flip side of that, if you had 8 teams this year and you had those teams in there, what it does do is it does open up eyes to all those other programs that no one gets to watch. So it puts more eyes on them. It also helps recruiting purposes too. So
it does.
That's the benefit of it. Now, yeah, we know Cincinnati, Coastal Carolina, they're not beating Alabama.
No, that would be a good game.
But it would be a good game to see.
Well, I mean, it can't happen. It's just not likely to happen. It could.
Yeah. I honestly, I think I wish they would expand the playoff another round.
I think they should do 8.
Bring it up to 8, and then you'll get close to Carolina's in, or your Cincinnati's in. Everybody's gonna get in, and then sorry, but we're not gonna expand it to 12 teams.
No.
You don't want to get started with a team that finished like 6-6 or 5-6. That's watered down. I mean, you have to draw the line somewhere. You don't want a scrub team going up against so many powerhouse anyway.
Right, 8-4.
Well, I mean, if you have 8, so you have your 5 conference champions and then 3 at-large bids.
Right.
That's what it would be at. You have 3 at-large bids. And if you want to put in a team like Cincinnati or Coastal Carolina or BYU or whoever, those 3 teams. Or if you wanted to throw in another team from one of the Power 5, like a Texas A&M, for example.
Texas A&M, maybe Florida.
Right. Somebody else that was in there, you could do that, or, Oklahoma State, or like if it was Ohio State and Michigan loses, you could put Michigan in that spot.
Yeah.
That way. But if you're going to have 8, you're going to have at least 2 of those to be teams like a Cincinnati.
2 at large, at least 2
that you don't hear about. You're going to have them in there to make it fair if you're going to do that.
Absolutely, I agree.
So, will they? I don't think they will, but they should.
I think it should expand to 8 and no more. Yeah. I think the NCAA should put that in there. 8's the cutoff. You've got to be at the 8th seed or higher,
right? Or
you don't make the playoffs. Sorry, we're not expanding to 16. We're not going to 24. We're not going to 137.
No, that wouldn't work. Yeah, a team that's 12-0 versus a team that's 0-15. 1-14. No.
Right.
In that case, if they do go to 8 teams, would you give 1 and 2 a bye week and let 3? No. Okay. I'm just. They've talked about that too.
See, I would go. I would start the. I would move up championship week a week, and start the bowl season the week after the. So normally, right, the first week in December is your championship week, right?
Yeah. Right.
You have 2 weeks off, and then you have then you have Christmas weekend, and then you have New Year's weekend, and then the weekend after New Year's weekend would be championship weekend. That's what I would do it. You
don't want to run too much in the about playoffs though either, so that could be a problem.
Well, you've already got all the bowl games. You just expand your, instead of having you have the 3 bowl games, your 2 semi-playoff games, and your championship game. So you got 3 bowl games, right there, that are your championship games. So then you just need, so 1 would play 8, 2 would play 7, 3 would play
6.
6, 4 would play 5. So that's 4 games if I did the math right. So then 1 would play 4, and 2 would play 3, assuming the top seed's all 1, and then that's 4 games. Or actually, that's 2 games. 4 teams, 2 games. So you go 4, 2, 1. So that's 7 bowl games that you're expanding your playoff into 7 new bowls. You're making more prestige. You're making some of the lesser prestigious bowls, like how of course the Big 5 always get them.
No, that would be. I mean, that would be cool. I mean, for example, like down here, maybe if the Outback Bowl was part of
the Outback could be a playoff bowl. That'd be cool. That'd be a good one.
Yeah, so you'd have 2 of the top 8 teams in the country down here playing in Tampa. That would be great.
It's not like Tampa Bay's a small market or anything, so it's not like it's not like the Idaho Potato Bowl getting a playoff game or something like that.
Yep. All right. Well, yeah, that's. I mean, that, I mean, it
and then maybe you can move some of those. Maybe you can move it around, and you can move some of the more traditional bowls like the Rose Bowl off the playoff list, and
no.
It can go back to be Big Ten, Big Ten, Pac-12. Not saying every year, but expanding your roster of available bowls.
Yeah, but the Rose Bowl is a lot.
Right, like that. Like having the semi. Like you have your quarterfinals, semifinals, finals, and your quarterfinals are four of your lesser bowls. Your semifinals are two of your more prestigious bowls, and then of course the big game is whichever the national championship game would be. So you elevate the lesser bowls into a little bit more of a higher status because they mean more than they did, a year ago.
Right. No, I like I said, I mean, if they did do something like that and they expanded the bowl rotation a little bit more to all the other ones, it draws money to wherever those bowl games are at.
Yep.
So that'll help draw attendance to those certain bowl games.
Yeah.
I mean, again, like I said, last year, obviously, it's not. If we have a Outback Bowl this year, it's not going to be as packed as it was a year ago. There wasn't a seat in the house last year, and there isn't in that at any bowl game. It usually doesn't end up that way because that's what all college football fans live for is bowl season. That's what we live to see. Yeah. So yeah, it is what it is. I mean, we'll see how it goes. I'm trying to get credentials to the Outback Bowl again. I don't know if I will because the media won't be as high this year.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they're going to do as far as media goes. I, again, was very shocked that I got credentials to USF. So I'm just going to say that right now.
Right.
I was very shocked that I got credentials to USF this year. So, but it was a lot different than it has been in the past. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Right.
But we all know why.
Yes.
So then we'll go to the NHL guys. So now we have, obviously, I think they're shooting for mid-January for the season to start. 56 games. Obviously, there will be a all-Canadian team bracket. I think we've always talked about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here are 5 teams, according to Yahoo Sports, that are on the cusp of being cup contenders this year coming up. Number 5 is the Carolina Hurricanes. Number 4 is the Colorado Avalanche. I can agree with that one. I think the Avs are well on their way.
I agree.
The Flyers are listed down. They were in the playoffs a year ago.
They needed a lot of help.
I don't know if I quite agree with this one. Toronto. I don't know what people see in Toronto.
Toronto's going to have to get a lot tougher, a lot more physical to be a contender next year.
And then the last one, guys, is obviously Vegas, and I can agree with Vegas being there because they just seem to be in there every year.
What did you say 3 was again?
I'm sorry, Bush?
Number 3.
Number 3 was the Philadelphia Flyers.
Yuck.
Yeah, I don't understand that one. I don't think Philly's anywhere near.
That's what I can say.
The Flyers were in there a year ago in the They lost in round 2.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. they lost the Islanders in round 2.
Right.
They were not.
I'm the big Islander fan either, but
better than Philly.
Well, I had special interest with Islanders this year because, well, Bradley knows this, but Adam doesn't. Bradley knows that I did a local show back in Jersey with a fellow named Eric Speck, and he was an Islanders fan. Eric passed away in February due to cancer.
Right.
And, every time there was an Islanders game, like, well, as much as I can't stand him, this season means something different. So, every time I was run, I was thinking of my late partner, and so just kind of so as much as I can't stand him, I had a place for him this year.
I understand.
Yeah.
Well, and Lewis, I'll be honest with you, they played the Lightning in the Eastern Conference Finals, and I tell you what, I was scared because the Islanders are a good defensive team.
Yeah, they're a hell of a hockey team.
I was concerned going in, like, okay, this is the same thing that they played defensive hockey. You score 2 goals, that's all it takes. The Islanders are that
time.
they score 2 goals and then the game is over. They shut it down. That's how they played. So it just didn't end up like that. On I think it didn't end up that way. But yeah, I remember Eric quite well. I remember coming on a couple times on your other show that you guys did together, and he was a huge Islanders fan.
Yes,
huge Islanders fan. So like I said, it was. As Adam just found out, it was sad news that we lost him in February. I think, Lewis, you were the one who mentioned it to me that he had passed away, and it's hard when you lose a guy like that, who really was a good guy.
He was. I mean, he brought me to this. If it wasn't for him, and of course my other mentors, Betty and Benny and Kevin, if it wasn't for those 3, I don't think we'd be doing this good with you guys right now or any of the other stuff.
Yeah.
And I'll mention that on Saturday on my show as we have the 2020 finale of that.
All right. Well, yeah. I mean, again, it's really, to be honest with you, it's weird how, and I hate to say this, but why do all the good people got to go so early? Why do all people got to go? We got all these people in jail,
our job,
crimes and stuff. They live forever, but then the good people are the ones who die early or die young.
Only the good die young.
Well, we've earned our wings. That's why.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right, guys, we'll get into the NFL. So we'll go through the power rankings, and obviously, here we go. We'll start, unfortunately, with Lewis's team at 32.
I'm listening.
The Jets.
I'm not listening.
Then you have Jacksonville at 31.
Yeah.
Cincinnati at 30. Atlanta at 29. Houston at 28. Dallas at 27. The Chargers, who are playing right now, are up 17-10. Are at 26.
Whoopee.
Adam's team, the Lions, are at 25. The Niners are 24. The Eagles are at 23. The Panthers are at 22. Chicago, who won last week, are at 21.
I'd really be happy with that.
Minnesota, who lost to the Bucks over the weekend, are at 20. Denver is at 19. Excuse me. The Giants are at 18 at 5-8. The Patriots are 6-7 at number 17. Vegas, who's playing right now, is at 16. Arizona's at 15. Arizona may have had a good statement. Well, they beat the Giants, but it's a statement from last week. Washington's at 14. Miami, who lost to Kansas City, was up in that game in the beginning.
Yeah, and then they got down 18. And
I'll tell you who this team at 12. They might be the dark horse in the AFC, and that's the Colts. They are.
They put a whooping on the Raiders last week.
They're a good football team. The Bucks are at 11. Baltimore is at 10. The Rams are at 9. Seattle's at 8. Tennessee's at 7. The Browns are at 6.
Yep.
Pittsburgh, who has lost 2 in a row, is at 5.
No, not to worry. Not to worry.
Saints are 4. I don't know how they are ahead of Pittsburgh, even though I know Saints. Taysom Hill is a fumbling machine, as we've seen the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Into a fumbling machine, I haven't.
Buffalo. There's another good football team. Buffalo at 3.
Green Bay at 2, and
then Kansas City's the number 1 team overall.
Right.
Kansas City's Kansas City's greatest threat is Kansas City.
That's true.
If Miami if Miami had been if Kansas City had been playing Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers, they'd have lost that game last Sunday.
Yeah.
I mean, Mahomes had 3 turnovers in the second half, 3 picks, and they managed to pull it out because Miami couldn't get out of their own way.
Yeah.
I wonder if we'll have a repeat of Super Bowl I.
I was just gonna say that with the 2 teams that were 1 and 2, could you see a repeat of Chiefs and Packers it's again my backyard in Tampa, so
could be very well could be
to see those two teams again playing this year.
Yeah,
because who in the NFC can take the Packers down? Who is it?
NFC.
Because I mean the Bucs have. I don't think Tampa Bay can do it again. Not in Green Bay.
Not in Canada.
Yeah. The Saints, if they get Drew Brees back, that's a possibility.
That's the only possibility, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. We might, but they're not saying much of that right now.
Who else in the NFC jumps out at you that could take them down? I don't know if there's anyone else there.
Yeah, not off the top. Maybe
no.
The Chiefs. I mean, the Steelers don't have a running game, so their
defense is falling apart.
Yeah. I mean, you think Indianapolis would give the Chiefs a game? The Colts give them a game?
I think Buffalo.
Buffalo. Okay.
I really like Buffalo because the Chiefs are 11-3.
11-3.
And Buffalo's 10-4?
11-2, I would think, because they have the 3 games to play, not 2.
Or 12-1.
The Chiefs are 12-1 right now.
Okay, and Buffalo's 10-4.
They're 10-3.
10-3. Okay. And they don't have the tie. So
the Chiefs are 12-1. Yeah.
Yeah, and so Buffalo, Kansas City has the tiebreaker, so that game wouldn't be in Buffalo then.
Right.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still think Buffalo can knock the Chiefs off.
So with that, guys, now the NFL also looks like they're looking to expand to a 17-game season.
Yeah, they've been talking about that for about a year and a half now.
Well, that's actually been delayed.
And I hate to say
Has it been delayed? Are they not going to do it?
The Bills
delayed
are in the same division as the Patriots, so it's hard to
Yeah, I think they'll delay it to the end of the playoffs, and maybe they'll make a decision then. Right now, they're going to hold that.
I think that I want more football. I want more.
But why 17? That's an odd number. I mean, why not make it 18? Because that's going to seem kind of weird.
I think you're going to do a trial run. I think you'll get 3 or 4 or 5 years of 17, and then they'll go into 18.
Yeah, but for an odd number.
I'm not sure. I'm more football is more football, so I ain't complaining.
Okay, but I just thought I mean, does it kind of serve as a disadvantage though?
Well, yeah, no more. Well, you won't have any more uneven records. Every record will be either a winning record or a losing record.
True.
You won't.
Everyone else plays even numbers. MLB plays 162. NHL and NBA in normal season play 82. Even soccer plays an even number of 32. Yeah, 32. Used to be 28. But
I don't know.
Numbers. So why sell for a small number?
Be different.
The only thing I can think of, Lewis, too, is you're going to get 2 bye weeks. So they'll play. That's 15 games. That doesn't make any sense either. So yeah.
No. That's dumb.
Oh, yeah. So
I just think it's going to go to 18 before too long.
I would.
I think they'll cut the preseason back another week. I think in 2021 the preseason will be 3 weeks, or maybe even 2 weeks. You'll have a week off and then start the regular season. Right. Where the regular season will start where the preseason ended, or would have been game 4 of the 2020 preseason. Yes. Will be the first game of the 2021 season, or 2022 if they don't get a deal done in 2021.
Well, time the preseason was 6 games.
Yeah, there were 6 preseason games and 10 regular season games.
Well, actually, it was 14 regular season games.
14 at the time.
Yeah, because
I know at one point it was 10. There was only 10 regular season games.
Yeah, back in the 30s.
Yeah. And there was 10, 12, and then 14. For the longest time, it was 14. And then it expanded to 16.
1978.
And then now they're gonna expand to 17. I don't know. I don't do. They didn't. They don't pay me. They don't pay me math. They don't pay me to do math on this show.
Oh. Well,
nobody said there'd be any math.
Yeah, but I'm good with numbers, so.
I spend them just as fast as I can make them.
Okay.
So let's guys. Let's go ahead and preview this week. We'll preview this week in the NFL outside of the game that's going on right now.
Right.
I like the winner of this one.
The winner. The winner.
I'll pick this game in about 30 minutes.
Okay.
Winner is.
There are two. See, there are 2 Saturday games coming up, and I think they're both going to be blowouts. You have Buffalo in Denver and Carolina in Green Bay. I think both those are going to be blowout games on Saturday.
Buffalo Packers all the way.
Okay.
I'm gonna take Buffalo and I'll take Green Bay. I'll take them both by 30 plus.
I would agree with that. Okay, I got stuff clicking on that. Then you have the Texans and the Colts.
I could see Houston jumping up and stealing. I'm gonna still go with the Colts, but I'm just gonna hedge my bets a little bit and say it's a division game. Houston would love nothing better than to knock off Indy. Where is that game? Is it in Indianapolis or is it in Houston?
It's in Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis.
Oh yeah, they'd love to knock them off in their own building. So I think Indianapolis better buckle the chin straps up.
The next game is in SoFi Stadium in Inglewood. That's the Jets and the Rams at 4:05. Okay. Then we have the Lions and the Titans in Nashville.
Titans.
You have the Bucks at Atlanta.
Bucks,
and they need this one, so Tampa Bay.
Actually, this is a battle of Super Bowl 51 quarterbacks. Matt Ryan, forget that game.
As much as he tries.
You have Jacksonville at Baltimore at the Ravens.
Big.
New England is in Miami to play the Dolphins at Hard Rock.
Miami. Miami gives Bill Belichick fits in Miami.
Yes. Yep. You have Chicago at Minnesota. 6-7.
Minnesota.
You have the Browns at MetLife Stadium against the Giants.
Browns.
Seattle is on the road to play Washington.
Seattle.
Seahawks.
You have the Eagles in Arizona to play the Cardinals.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, Cardinals. It's a tough one.
Then you have the late game, or the 4:25 game is Kansas City at the Saints.
Chiefs.
New Orleans. Chiefs, okay.
Is Breeze is still out this week, right?
Correct.
Yeah, Chiefs. Close.
And then you have, a battle of used to be the NFC Championship game about every year. San Francisco at Dallas.
Dallas. Andy Dalton makes a game of it.
I gotta go with the 49ers here.
All right. And then the Sunday night game is Pittsburgh at Cincinnati.
Steelers. The Bungles, yeah, right.
Well, it's again. There's usually you have a Monday night game, but obviously with the 2 Saturday games, they're not doing that. And I just saw that there's a game on Christmas Day. I didn't know there was a game on Christmas Day.
Yeah, so they're going to do Monday night game.
Oh, okay, they are going to do Monday. Okay, what did I miss? I must have missed it. Okay,
I thought that the Steelers.
Well, is that the Monday night game? Or is there no Sunday night game then? Or is there a Sunday night game and I'm missing? I just looked.
No, the Cleveland, New York is the Sunday night game.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. So they're in the Meadowlands. Okay.
Yeah. That was the game because it was supposed to be Cowboys and Niners was the original Sunday night game for this week, but that got flexed so that because the Browns and
Giants.
Yes. Are actually a more competitive matchup,
right?
But meaning more. That's why they.
See, it's like, well, we had that game, but since they're playing a bunch of turds, we'll have to switch the game around.
Yeah.
We have a new no turd policy in the NFL. We can't allow games of mediocrity to be played in prime time because no one would care. It's not written law. It's not written rule, but it's ethical.
That's bad. That's really bad.
Oh,
that's bad.
Oh, I thought you were joking.
No.
The game.
Oh, he got up. He got absolutely torpedoed.
Yeah, that was a shot to the helmet there.
Yeah.
That was Hunter Renfrow, too, the former Clemson Tiger.
And the way his neck and head all twisted like that didn't look good.
What is WWE or professional football?
Something like that.
The WWE is at Tropicana Field where the Rays play, man. I pass by their trucks every day.
Yeah.
But the point like wrestling holds on the player.
Speaking of WWE, if we're done with the NFL, we can jump to WWE for a second. Did you see that Monday Night Raw had its worst TV ratings ever?
No, I didn't. Did they really?
Yeah, they bottomed out. They're in disarray. I haven't watched Monday Night Raw in a decade.
Yeah,
surprised.
It's like I said, I'm not surprised either.
I saw something on one of the Facebook groups I'm in, one of the debate groups, and they wanted to what's wrong with the WD? How do you fix it? And somebody mentioned bringing back the Attitude Era. The problem with that is that the Attitude Era was 25 years ago. The world's not 19. We don't live in 1999 anymore.
I wish I did.
Me too. I mean, I was only 6 at the time, so life was so much better. I could eat cake. Without going to my hips. The world has changed so much. Even if you tried to to bring that stuff back, the other thing is like we've all seen that already. We've all seen Austin and Rocky when they were in their primes,
and Triple H,
and H and HBK and the
Undertaker.
Yeah. And the DX and China winning the titles, and there's nothing. The WWE isn't innovating. They're not doing anything new. And they're not that AEW or Ring of Honor or New Japan is doing anything new, but they're not. I was watching SmackDown a couple weeks ago. Not that it's for want of an example, and not because it's Raw, but I was watching. It was Sami Zayn and Daniel Bryan were having a match, and it's just a singles match. No stipulations, nothing for a belt. It wasn't like a number one contenders match or anything. It was just a regular singles match. And Sami Zayn, I don't like the character of Sami Zayn because he's an arrogant prick, and I just don't like the character.
Okay.
And the thing about it is that wrestling is about the characters. Mick Foley is a character played by Mankind Mick Foley plays the character with Cactus Jack, Mankind, even Mick Foley himself that is a character. And so I don't particularly care for the character of Sami Zayn. I'm a big fan of Daniel Bryan. I always have been. So anyway, they had this match. They're going back and forth. And Zayn is being a heel. And he runs out of the ring, runs up the ramp, and Daniel Bryan goes after him. And they go off into the back, and they're fighting. And Sami Zayn comes back, running back into the ring. And when he gets in the ring, and the ref counts Daniel Bryan out, and he wins the match. And then they cut back to the back of the in behind the Titantron, and Jey Uso, or one of the Usos, I forget which one it was, had jumped Daniel Bryan and was beating him up, and then Kevin Owens came in, broke it up, and they kind of tussled for a minute. And I was sitting there going, I've seen this all before. I saw this 25, 30 years ago now when I was watching Raw on a weekly basis, when it was, Rocky and Orton, or Rocky and Austin doing it, and doing it so much better. And it's the thing is that just the new guys just aren't as good of workers They're not good wrestlers. They're not good storytellers. They don't have good characters. There's nobody. Ooh,
that's a broken finger right there.
Yeah,
that's wide receiver just got a broken finger right there.
Hopefully, it's just dislocated and they pop it back in and be back in. But and so it's like for me, I'm like I like wrestling. I like old school wrestling. You say you watch a lot of YouTube wrestlers. I don't know, or not wrestlers, but wrestling commentators, and I really like watching Wrestling with Regret. I don't know if you watch his stuff.
I've seen it. I've seen it. Yep.
Yeah, I like his stuff. I watch What Culture Wrestling. I don't know if you've ever checked them out.
That's a good one. They're good.
Yeah, I like them. And so I like watching classic matches and the stuff that got me into wrestling back 25 years ago. And the thing about it is, I don't want to watch that stuff in today and for I want something new, something I've never seen, something interesting.
I think the WWE, one of the big problems with them is their writers. Their writers don't want to write anything new because we can do this. 25 years ago it worked, so it's going to work now. It doesn't work like that.
Wrong.
So, and actually, if you think about it too, one of the sports like that doesn't have fans, that kills WWE.
Oh, yeah.
That's the biggest part is the fans. So
even on TV, there's nothing like a crowd. There's nothing like having somebody's music hit and having a crowd pop.
Absolutely.
Was watching AEW a couple weeks ago when Sting came back, and the Stinger's music hits, and even though they had a limited capacity crowd, they actually had people in the seats, and the crowd noise and the reaction. It gets you. It's visceral, and you feel it, and you're like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah. And that's the thing too. And that's, if you watch Austin's podcast and all the guys that he's had on, he'll tell you that. Like the fans will let you know if they love you or they hate you. They cheer for you, they love you. If they don't, they hate you.
Exactly.
That's
how that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how it really works. So, well, guys, any final thoughts before we get off here?
Guys.
Go ahead.
Oh no, sorry.
No, I mean, since we won't be back till the beginning of next year, I want to wish you guys a very happy and healthy and safe holiday season. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Absolutely. You too.
Don't forget my show on Saturdays, 5 to 7 o'clock, Enhanced Sports Show. Same number as this one, of course, 512-543-4662. Should be a very interesting show because it's the end of the year show. So we'll get as many of our regular features as we can, plus holiday wishes to go out, and a few other things there. So if you get a chance, call in because I'm sure if you do, I think you'll be very pleased with it. So hope you can. January 7th on this show.
Well, again, guys, before I go, I want to say it's been great getting to know you guys over this year. It started off in February. I myself didn't know if we were going to be able to talk about sports this time of the year with everything going on. And, I'm happy with the way that the decisions that were made, or should I say my decision to be made of what happened, back in November to get you guys both on here. And I think I'm looking forward to a great 2021 with both of you.
Yes.
So before I go, Happy New Year to both of you. Merry Christmas, whatever you guys celebrate.
Yeah.
Happy holidays. So I'm looking forward to definitely a great 20, because then we'll have the whole year. So we'll kind of look back. We maybe at this time next year we can go back to show 1 in January and see how far we've come.
We've come, in the last 4 or 5 weeks, we've come so far.
Absolutely.
We've all gotten so much more comfortable and confident with each other, and we play off each other so well. And I have so much fun being here every week. This is so much fun, even doing it for peanuts. I don't even get peanuts, but I got beer, and so that's pretty good.
For the love. So
I'm gonna close out this year on one final note. It's something Dale Sr. told a young Jeff Gordon. Don't worry if they cheer you. Don't worry if they boo you. Worry if they don't say anything.
That's true.
Well said.
Well said. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to go through the sponsorships here to, help pay the bills or whatever they pay the bills. Again, guys, if you are into getting In the Zone gear, go over to squadlocker.com, type in the Zone Sports Talk Radio to order your gear. Again, this is the holiday season. And guess what? We're only about a week, 4 or 5 days away from Christmas, about a week away. So
8 days.
Orders in now. And then also to creatingzenspaces.com. Again, my friend Renee has sponsored me since day one, since this show started back about a year and a half ago. So thanks to her and her company in St. Pete. But with that, guys, before I go, I want to thank all the essential workers, doctors, nurses. Thank you guys for being the true heroes. As you guys are getting admitted the vaccine as we speak, you guys deserve to get the vaccine first. Yes. You guys have been fighting this the whole time. Then, of course, before I go, as always, to the soldiers. I mean, they're fighting for freedom. We get to be at home with our families. They're overseas. So to the ones, men and women, active, retired, and the ones who have left us, thank you for your sacrifice. We wouldn't be able to do this, guys, without you. The three of us wouldn't be sitting here right now doing this if it had not been for what you guys do every day. And also, guys, to our police officers, our firefighters, our paramedics, thank you for keeping us safe here domestically. Guys, I love you guys. I'll see you guys in 2021. Everyone stay safe out there. This is the final Walker Report for 2020. Thank you guys for being with me all year long. And, these two gentlemen right here have made this show so much better the last month and a half. So we'll see them again both in 2021. But until then, guys, you guys take it easy. Stay safe. Hope you have a great holiday. I'll be toasting. I don't drink, but I'll be toasting in 2021. I think it's been a bad year for most people. Yes. I'm one of the blessed ones who hasn't had a bad year, but for everyone else that has, prayers with you. Hopefully your 2021 is a hell of a lot better than your 2020 has been. But this is the Sports Sir Brad Walker. This has been the Walker Report, part of In the Zone Sports Radio. See you guys later. Until January, you guys take it easy. Peace.
Tune in for the second show. With any luck, we'll have a huge surprise for you.
Folks.